Don't tell anybody what you're trying to manifest, okay? On my last video, I talked more about just having a little chit chat about what I think it means to manifest and what manifestation is kind of about. But this video, I want it to be a little bit more guided. So I'm gonna talk about how I manifested the rental that I live in right now. And the reason it's a rental is because my husband is still in the military and we're staying on base. Well, staying on base here in Germany is really tough because the COLA went down. And so everybody is trying to move on base. And the wait list, I believe, for enlisted is about 6 months. And I think it's even longer for officer housing. So I wanna tell you how we got this rental. And so the rental that we're in right now is exactly the size house that I wanted. I wanted a place for my man cave, a living room, dining room area, a playroom for the kids, and 4 bedrooms. Literally, I got exactly what I wanted. And I want to tell you the story real quick and then we'll get into the tips. So real quick, when we were on our way to Germany, my husband's best friend and a couple of people who were stationed here when he arrived told him, look, man, you're going to make so much with COLA, you know, move off base. And then he was really trying to talk me into moving off base because of this. But since I was also previously active duty, I knew that living on base would be a better bet, especially because the government is ever changing. And if COLA got taken away or if the utilities went up and down, because the utilities in Germany off the hook and you have to kind of pay for that like within the pay that they give you for your housing. So I just thought we would have a more stable lifestyle, especially because I decided to kind of focus more on school and taking care of the 2 toddlers I have when we got here, if we moved on base. So that's the short story of it all. So my husband was game. Well, people at his job kept telling him, you know, oh no, you're never going to be on base because the list is too long, blah, 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 blah. The list is too long. So that takes me to my first step. My first step is keeping the bad thoughts out when you're trying to manifest. You can do this in all different types of ways. Number 1, I would say the best way is probably secrecy. So what we should have probably did, if I could do it all over again, would be to not even really tell people what we were planning on doing. The reason is because people are pushed out. And if you already have doubts about what's going to happen, or people in general just have doubts and put them into your head, then you can start to kind of doubt your belief. And again, I said this in the first video, when your beliefs align with what you're trying to feed your brain, basically with your affirmations, it goes way quicker. The manifestation can still go without belief, but with that alignment, it goes way quicker. So my first tip is don't tell anybody what you're planning on doing unless it's somebody who's like a mentor and is really gunning to help you out. But other than that, kind of keep it a secret. This will keep negative people and your negative thoughts, basically, which they're portraying back onto you, out of it. Okay, so an example of this is one time we were walking to the BX because we were just staying at temporary housing and we didn't have a car yet. And my husband was like, oh, babe, I just want to give you an update on the housing. And I could tell by the way he said, like, oh, babe, I just want to give you, I said, nope. I literally cut him off. I was like, nope. I was like, if it's negative, hun, I do not want to hear it. And he was like, all right. And he always thinks like you with this manifestation thing. Okay. So yeah, I didn't listen to him, to anybody, to one of my closest friends here who was staying. I didn't listen to anybody. So anyways, moving on. So second tip is affirming. So affirm. Affirming is one of, and that's basically saying things you could do out loud or to yourself. It's one of the best ways to manifest, because when you're affirming, you're basically telling yourself, you're taking over your thoughts. Instead of letting your brain go on like pilot driving and just driving by itself, you're basically taking your thoughts in your own hand. So I affirmed all throughout the day, and I said this again, you can never affirm enough. And I especially affirmed when I would have negative thoughts, because I had to get myself, I like to call it turning the channel. So you know how your brain kind of visualizes or thinks and it feels like you're connecting to a certain radio wave, basically. If I saw myself going down a bad radio wave, a bad channel where I was thinking, oh my God, we're not going to get it, everybody's saying we're not going to get it, I would be able to affirm to get myself in a better emotional state about it. So I was, okay, Tiffany, you have to control yourself. Literally sometimes saying it out loud, talking to myself, you have to control yourself. Nope, you're going to affirm that you're going to get the house. So now I'm not even, you can't think of two things at one time. So now I'm not even thinking about not getting it. I then got myself out of those bad feelings and bad emotions about not getting it and those bad thoughts by affirming. So affirming, that's the master key. I mean, it is. Okay, so number 3, I visualize. This is this is actually like a technique, but I visualize. Look, we're always daydreaming. Sometimes I'm driving and your body's in like autopilot, you know what I'm talking about? And you get to your destination and you're kind of like, how did I get here? Because you were thinking about 50 million other things. Well, I would purposefully daydream. So thankfully, our temporary living facility, basically apartment complex that they put you in while you're waiting for housing, was right across the street from housing. So I would see people cutting their grass, and I would imagine my husband cutting the grass. I would look at the house and I would imagine, and I would do like a little video in my mind about, just short, didn't have to be long, about where I would put things. I would go on YouTube and see if there was another house, and I would say, oh, nope, I'm gonna put this over here, I'm gonna put this over there. I like mentally visualized, and then I took it a step further and physically kind of visualized, where I'm like basically looking, pulling up the house and the layout and looking where I'm gonna put my sofa, where I'm gonna put my TV. And so I feel like that pushes everything even further. So the 4th thing I can say is just kind of relax. Like if you feel like you're starting to get overwhelmed with like the thoughts and everything, and any technique that you're using, whether it's a board that you're looking at every morning or notes on your mirror, if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed with it, it's okay to like kind of, I don't like using set it and forget it, because I don't think you should forget it. Meaning if those thoughts come back up, you should go ahead and kind of, like I said before, if those, especially if they're negative, you want to go ahead and get them out and start thinking positive thoughts. So you're not forgetting it, because you're going to think about it during the day because you want it. So when your desire comes up, if you are starting to go rear into the bad side, you want to bring back the affirmation. You want to bring back the visualization. But if you feel like this is taking up a lot of mind space and I feel a little bit overwhelmed, because it doesn't feel good to everybody to constantly do that, right? To me, it's a little exciting, but there are times when I'm like, okay, I need a break from this. Literally, like, just take a break, knowing that if the thought or conversation comes up, you're going to be positive about it, okay? All right, so those are my 4 tips. Like, those will get you anything you want, especially the affirming and the visualizing and the getting the negative thoughts and flipping them. You have to turn the channel, flip your thoughts. Long story short, at the end of that, we got not only offered the house that we're in, but they emailed and called us back and said, hey, there's another house too available all of a sudden. This is within a month we got this. So we only had to pay our temporary living facility for a month instead of having to wait and wait and wait. Because I told my husband, I was firm. I said, we're going to just stay here until they give it to us. So we didn't, only a month, under 30 days. Like if you're in the military and you know a place where base housing is popular, you know that's like, what? How did that happen? Under 30 days in the house, all of my necessities that I needed, I stayed here with it. And I wasn't surprised when now I got to choose. Nope, I want the one that's right across the street from the TLF. Got the one right across the street from where we were living. Day of the move, moved all of our temporary stuff that we had, our suitcases, we pulled them and pushed them right across the street to our home at base housing. And guess what? About 6 months to a year later, COLA, that additional amount that they give you to live off base, went down. So also, you know, a additional tip is just to listen to your intuition, because it's your inner self telling you, and I knew my inner self was telling me for some reason to move on base. But those are 4 tips that I consistently use to get what I want. Leave comments below, try to build up this family, and we're going to be manifesting together. We're going to have goals, we're going to have challenges together. So we're going to get it started. See you later. Peace.